Yes, yes. Welcome to the match review of the fixture between Grange Thistle and Morton City Excelsior on the 3rd of May 2026. Really strong win, boys. Really good win. The thing that I was happy with the most was we became more and more ruthless as the game went. We started the game in the first 10 minutes. We were all over them. Things changed a little bit once we got to probably the 25th to 30th minute. I thought we dominated the first 20 minutes. And then when in that 25th, 20 to the 30th minute, they started to come into the game more, created some decent chances for themselves. Um, we got into half time. We reconnected with what our goals were, which were focusing on excuse me, defensive and attacking transitional moments. We really refined our press. It was very noticeable. They had all sorts of trouble getting out of their own half in the second half. These things are really reflected in the statistics from the game. So 2-1, the final scoreline. We can see Benji scoring in the 28th minute, great header from possibly the smallest bloke on the pitch, and Mal making the best of a second chance at a penalty. And I suspect their keeper is probably still on suicide watch, the way he was carrying on after the game. They, of course, scored in the 15th minute. And we'll talk some about that. But what I wanted to draw our attention to, as circled, are the possession stats, the shots, attempts, corners, and free kicks. I've divided these again between first half and second half. You can see in the first half, that period of where they wrestled control of the game is quite obvious in the possession stats, where you had 44% of the possession in the first half compared to their 56, obviously. We generated three shots, so they're eight. We generated four shots, four attempts, one of which was blocked. They generated nine attempts, one of which was blocked. So they generated eight shots to our three in that first half, which is really reflected on how significantly they swung the game in their favour in that period. They got two corners to our one. They got less free kicks, but they just foul a lot, basically. There's not really a huge amount. We can go down to passes. We had 88 passes. They had 103 passes. They had eight possession minutes. We had six possession minutes, and they got more possession that they won. In the second half, though, once we reconnected and got ourselves back on track, we enjoyed 53% of the possession. That's a 9% turnaround. That's a massive swing from the first half. We created nine attempts on goals compared to their three. They really weren't in it. There were a couple of times they managed to break. There was one occasion when we did remarkably well to keep the ball out of the goal, quite frankly. But they are that kind of team, they pump it up into the mixer and just see where the cards fall. And they do have some fast kids, and they got some kids who are pretty good finishers. I think it's 17. I don't know who he is, but he's got a lot of pace and a pretty good finisher. So we need to keep an eye on him. But it is difficult to keep someone out of the game for the entire duration of the fixture. Free kicks, we won three to their two. We got four corners. All of these statistics are reflective of the amount of possession we had, but not just the possession we had, where we had that possession. I'm just going to quickly divert over here. These are the possession stats from the first half. So you can see we had 31% in our defensive position, 35% in the midfield, and 34% in the attacking. So basically, we were pretty evenly distributed. I think most of that 34% was probably at the start and end of the half. The middle part of the first half, they were quite strong. Lot of battle in the midfield. If we now go to the second half possession statistics, you'll see that the second half, that's really where we turned this around. We spent almost half of our time in their attacking third in the second half, 39% in the middle of the pitch, and they were in our box just 12% of the time. Um, they did generate some high quality chances, but at the end of the day, I would suspect that a lot of those chances being missed were a result of frustration. So well done, fantastic response at halftime. We really shut them out. Like they were never really back in, they were never really in the game in that second half, other than the odd break where they could pump it up or maybe get up and get a corner, and just sort of throw it into the mixer. If we go to the review tile, now this contrasts what our original goals were. Obviously, I've taken these across the whole half. So first of all, in terms of managing transitional moments, we talked about this. We talked about the specifics of it. There's this play here, which I wanted to highlight, which I thought was a really good example of that transitional phase, where the first thing you need to do is put pressure on the ball. You need to get yourself between the opposition player and the goal, because that's where going to be where they're going to want to tend to go. So in this situation here, now this boy here, he's managed to get it on the head, and charge through. His markers haven't picked him up. He's quite sharp, but if we watch Major, because Major's here, now, first thing, Major doesn't commit. Okay, he realizes this guy hasn't got the ball under control yet, but he doesn't commit because it's bobbling. It could be easy to get to miss it. Now he waits for that touch. This is where the guy takes a bad touch. Major steps up and controls it. So the things that we've done very well there is we've engaged the ball. We've got between the attacker and the goals, and we've waited for a mistake, or in that case, a miscontrol, or even a bigger touch to get our chance to engage the ball. So that's really well done. I was really happy with that. Okay. Long ball. Now, long ball or our difficulty defending long balls has been a challenge. The Lions game was a massive example of that. So it made a big difference this game having both centre backs confident putting their head through the ball. Several times that was really prominent. So what we're going to go now with long ball transition moments. I've given us a tick because I thought we managed that really well. The Excelsior, they're a long ball side. They're not unlike Lions in that respect. It's just going to be pump it up into the mixer, and let's see what we can achieve that way. We'll go back. Might as well start at 6:48. So as we established before, if they can get the ball. So if they can get themselves the ball, I'll use white lines because you're probably not going to be able to see a black line. But if they can get the ball in this zone, they're probably going to go route one because, and if you have a look, we're lined up on halfway. Okay. If they can get there, then they figure that they're a chance of getting and kicking over and behind us. We're lined up on halfway, mix where he should be just outside the 18-yard box. But what's impressive here, ball comes through. Now, if I pause it there, you can see our defenders have dropped. So they've dropped. So they've dropped to cover, except for Major, who realizes he's been engaged with the ball. But I think that's Francis over there. He's dropped to cover. Zach is dropping to cover. He's got this dangerous number 17 in behind him. Major comes out, and if significantly, Ollie, Maxi, Riley filing back through the middle, and Luke catching up. Significantly, they're in front of their players. So even if Major heads into this space, we're going to pick it up. What happened all too often was their striker could nod it there, and if we hadn't picked up our Vicky in the middle of the pitch in the defensive midfielder role, they could then flow through and get a second wave. Bang. Puts his face through the ball. Really well done, Madge. So that's fantastic. My position would be you think it might hurt if the ball hits you in the face. It's going to hurt a hell of a lot more if the opposition score through it. This is another example. So this was early on in the game, and we really did set the tone. Once again, we're going to have the player receives it. Now you can see he's not even looking for a pass anywhere near him. It is once again in this corridor. This is the corridor where if they get the ball, they're just going to pump it along. My suspicion is that Lions will probably do the same. And I have not seen Kumara, but I suspect they might well do something similar. They do seem to be getting better results than they did last year, where they were kind of more or less, along with Capalaba, competition whipping boys. Um, but he's going to look up and he's going to go route one old English style. Bang. Okay. Now, in this case, we haven't quite done the same job of marking to cover. Zach is here. Major's coming across. Luke's kind of in no man's land. And Francis is recovering significantly, though. Ollie and Max are retreating. So anything in the middle of this pitch we own. So that's important. So we've effectively got our two lines, one line, two line. But because we're dropping back, we can mark anything in this in between our lines. If we let it play through. Oh, now in this case, Zach's missed it. Fortunately, though, Mick is where Mick needs to be, and he gets it out. Bang. Okay, Luke on the ball, and Luke runs away with it. So look, didn't get the head there, but the point of the story is Mick was where he should have been, which means if the ball was shorter, which, and look, I'll track it back a little bit. Okay, so I'll track it here. Now, look, if that ball was shorter, meaning that it was going to bounce in an area where they can run onto it, Zach's getting his head through that. The fact that it didn't mean that it's a fraction too long. The only challenge, I mean, Mick's retreating, moving back a tiny bit in that situation, but recovers quickly once he realised Zach's missed it, and out she goes. Really good. So good play there. We're now going to move on and we're going to focus a little bit. I'm going to go straight to press because there's some real highlights I wanted to focus on in our press. Our press, honestly, we just chained them in their own half in that second half. And I don't really see any reason why we can't do that with any team. I don't know that I don't know that this Excelsior team is too far off a lot of the other teams in our competition, if I'm completely honest. Um, there's just a few key components to their game that are missing. Now, Francis getting that. Ball goes through. Okay, now they're going to come through. They're going to get on the ball. We're going to engage our press, though. So he puts it back to here. Now, the key in this situation is Danny has, you can see the way they've lined him up. He's got the ball here. What they want to do is be able to back the ball and exploit this space. And anywhere along there, they can then kick to the width, but they want to quickly move the ball about flankers. Danny's taken that pass away. They've gone kind of long, and Francis does a really good job of controlling that bloke. This next section is a segment of play which I really wanted to highlight because it's 19, like it's in the game. I believe Benji's at striker. We just did a phenomenal job of just not letting them out. We didn't overcommit. We were patient in our press. So this is probably, here we go. Okay, so the first thing Benji's doing is he's waiting. He wants to see which way he's going to go. He wants to push him one way or the other. So Benji's here. Hayden probably a little bit too wide up, probably needs to be a bit more over. And then so what we really want to be doing is splitting the centre back and the wing backs with our right and left mid. But anyhow, so this is it. The first thing we need to do is we need to convince the goalkeeper that he needs to go one way or he needs to go the other. In this case, he decides to go that way. Now, Benji then engages. Okay, so notice Benji hasn't overcommitted. Hayden, being where he is splitting them. This guy's over here. He's not actually being particularly proactive, but I guess he's there. So Benji has now, whoopsies, Benji has now that they've gone, now that they've gone one way or the other, Benji's here, Hayden's here. We've got someone else here. So Benji's now going to curl his run to keep the keeper out and push this guy laterally. Notice, okay, now notice this guy, because he's in his 18-yard box, he can't kick long. So Benji gets there. Now he's engaged the ball. He's looking up. He's looking up to just lump it up. You can see his eye line. You can see he's looking up to just pump it up to absolutely anybody. But he ends up booting it to this guy who shifts it over. And that's okay. We adjust. Luke doesn't lose his man. Benji comes over. Has a go up again. That's fine. Now Major's going to do a really good job of controlling this. He's going to play it out there. Now we're going to lose the ball again here. Yeah, they say we're going to lose the ball, and they go out the back. Now, Hayden, you need to re-engage. Riley steps up. but we're forcing them back. And now Benji's here. Benji's going to cause this guy to move it over here. So they can't get out of their own half. Now, they had scored not long before this, but I've got to tell you, 15 minutes into the second half is very, very early to shut up shop. Now, I'm just talking, you can't see, but I've just made a correction because Hayden's job is to split these two boys. So what he can't, what he Benji's recovering, but really what Hayden, what the right winger in this situation, or left I should say, in this situation needs to do. So this guy's marked, this guy's marked, this guy's marked. Benji's recovering. Now at this point in time, because he's approaching Route One Old English style, what you need to do as Hayden is being in a position where this guy's thinking, well, if I pass there, there's the possibility that Hayden's going to be able to intercept that and then make something of it. Okay. By the same token, he needs to also be thinking, and this is where it comes down to positioning and a little bit of judgment. He needs to think if I try to go too direct and go this way, the left back, in this case, Hayden, is going to be able to cut it out. So you just want to be drifting to shut down that option. He's looking up. He's also getting close to where he's just going to go up, which he doesn't do in this case. He goes back, so we recover and we pin him back, and now he's going to try. So they're trying to play through. They're just not all that good at it. So Benji's coming over there. So now they go back to the goalkeeper. I like their goalkeeper having the ball at his feet because anything could happen. And there you go. Now he goes up, bang, we cut that ball out. We don't end up recovering it, and they're back into the press. Must have been one hell of a passing string, and then he's lumped it up. But because he's lumping it up from there and he's got a tight angle, and Major was on fire this weekend, Major just punts it out. Okay, so that's the press. Before we move on to possession stuff, which was a really positive thing, we're just going to backtrack a tiny bit and we're just going to have a quick chat about their goal. Um, Gosh, look at their assistant coach there in the action pose. Okay, so they've broken through. Here's the issue here is the marking. So we've got, I think that Zach Majors got dragged out of position. Luke's in this position. Now, it's difficult because what the striker's done is he's got between two defenders. So what we probably need in this situation is we need Zach, we need you closer to the striker, and that can allow Luke to drop back to be closer on this bloke. So, Zach, if you're there, and then Luke, if you're there to pressure this header, because at the moment we're watching the ball, we don't know who we're marking. Major's been caught out of position, which is not ideal. He'd been marking this guy most of the half. So as we let it go through now. I have to say it is a good cross, but Luke's got two players to mark. So whether or not the decision would have been for Major to drop to allow Zach to mark this guy and allow Luke to mark this guy, but it's a decent header, well taken goal. So it's a good cross, well taken goal, good header. Um, Honestly, we'll concede chances like that and not be punished many times throughout this season. Anyway, we're going to go back now. Um, oh, so we'll just reduce that for a second. So managing transitional moments. I think I've covered that. We did a good job of that. Long balls. That's it. That was this team's main attacking option, and for a lot of teams in this comp, it's going to be their main attacking option. So we did a really good job there. Out of possession, we blocked the immediate pass. We got between the players and the goal, and we talked about the defensive midfielder holding their position to shut the gate. Now we're going to move to our possession. Our possession, especially in the second half, was really strong. It was a real feature of this performance. So there's two examples that I'm going to highlight. We've got 556. So what I liked about this is we've shifted the point of attack. Now, very often when we're in this position, we'll just try to lump it in. We'll try to take a low percentage option. But we've got the ball. Danny backs it out. Okay. And Luke keeps it moving across to Max. Max moves it further across to Francis. Francis plays Will into the box. So we've literally backed it out, gone around the box. Now, as we're doing that, we create gaps, we create options, we create holes. There's every chance someone can lose their man and find themselves free in the box, which is exactly what's happened in this situation. Like if you look at this situation, we've got two free players in the box. So if we can get anything into there, we're going to create a really good opportunity. And Luke over the far post. More importantly, if it ends up being the case that we lose the ball, we're set. We've got players there. I mean, we've got their attackers here. Zach's on him. Luke's able to cut this out because Ollie's drifted further forward to contribute to the attack. And if we let it unfold, so Will plays through, and it ends up breaking down. But the point of the story is if we can maintain possession in the attacking third, we will wear teams down and we will create opportunities which we can score from. Now we're going to go forward to 15:27. So this is just talking about whether or not we can find a pass in between the lines. It's just reconnecting us. So this is where Luke is. Now what Luke does is he can see Max there. We need to be very careful with big sweeping passes between across the middle of the pitch. So in this situation, what's better is if we can find a pass in between the line, and that pass may well be Will dropping in to receive the ball here, or maybe Max moving up to receive the ball. Because at the moment, Luke can't pass you the ball because you're standing still and there's literally a player in between you. So as it unfolds, so that's exactly what Luke tries to do, and he finds you. Wasn't the best pass. You've got that guy on you. They manage to turn that. So now it becomes a transitional moment, which is what we're trying to avoid. I really want to try to get into more high percentage passes if we can manage doing that. Um, So 57-21. Now we're in the second half. We were honestly we were all over them like it. Oh yes, can you open it? So we were expecting okay, so what we're doing in this instance is okay, so Mal breaks. Now this is just purely based on time in possession, okay, in the opposition's third. So we can see not sure. Okay, what a refreshing break. Okay, so we've got Mael on the ball, but we have got so many options in and around if we can get the ball free, which is exactly what we do. We can notice they're holding their line on the top of the 18-yard box, which is what teams will very often do. We've earned the right to create this opportunity. Moves to Riley. Now, what's going to happen is Danny's going to make a run in behind. If Danny can get a touch. Okay, if Danny can get a touch on that, then we are going to execute a high percentage shot because the keeper's going one way, not the other. But the point of the story is we're creating these opportunities and we create them through time in possession. We can talk a lot about this throughout the game because there were many examples of it in what was a very dominant second half. The only risk to us was getting caught with a rapid counter attack. So we'll go forward to 87-50 now. Okay. So once again, now what this is an interchange of passing, which we've created the opportunity. You can see the way they are set up. They're very flat-footed. We were wearing them down by this point in time, as I already said, but they don't have their lines established, okay? Because they were getting tired, they were getting lazy, they were developing bad habits. But we've got very much got our shape. So if we let it roll through. Ball goes, Benji, Mayal. Mayal plays Francis. Francis plays Benji through with the 1-2. And this is a really good position for us to be in because we've got Benji on the ball and we've got runners able to come through and execute these runs. and generate good opportunities. If Benji changes his mind, he does also have the opportunity to back it out to Francis with a pass. But these are the options that he's got. So he's got these options that he can play through. The other thing he can do is he can also have a dribble. He can quite happily dribble here and take more time. As it turns out, probably not the best finished. I would have thought in that situation. If we'll roll it back, it's a great ball, really good ball. You get to this point rather than take that. I reckon a really good option, Benji, and it's easy when we're watching video replays. Really good option is just to roll it into here, roll it into there, and see what happens. Anyhow, boys, really good game. Fiercely proud of the result. Really happy that all the work's paying off. Extremely happy with the response after half time. So so yeah, we now move to Coomera. I will do a match preparation for Coomera. There's no training. I don't believe there's training tonight because it's a public holiday, and there won't be any training tomorrow because I want to make sure we're fresh because we've got Coomera, and then we've got a couple of days, and then we've got Ipswich again. But take all that on board. I'll do a match prep for Coomera. The match prep, look, it's going to be much the same as for this game because this has been highly effective, and my suspicion is that Coomera will be similar looking at some of the results. Congratulations, well done. Keep putting those rivets, screws, and bolts in the right places to build the future that you want. Cheers.